buenas and half a day to our listeners on Guam and in the CNMI. It's now time for Total Health right here on Joy FM Radio, where your questions get answered by health professionals. If you have any health-related questions, we would love to hear from you. Call your questions and comments in at 472-1111 or text or WhatsApp 686-9999. If you're in the CNMI, please call 323-1113. Welcome everybody to Total Health.
Good afternoon and welcome to Total Health. My name is Rose Trina, and in studio today we have our host Elena Tanova, family nurse practitioner, and today we're talking about the blue zones. Welcome, Elena.
Half a day Guam, half a day Rosie. I believe we will be very blessed to know a little bit more about the blue zones. Yes, so lately we started hearing about those blue zones, and some people are wondering, what is this all about? Blue zones, blue zones. What do you know about blue zones? What does it speak to you when you hear the word blue zones?
When I hear blue zones, I think of people who've lived to be like 100 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a popular thing. We've heard it. It became more popularized since 2000 when an American journalist, Dan Buettner, decided to investigate where those, centenarians that are living so long and what is actually the secret of why they are living for so long. So blue zones are just some pockets of land, we will say, like 5 distinct geographic regions in the world. This is for the whole world. We're not talking only about one continent or only one country. For the whole world, where people live significantly longer, healthier lives, and have the highest concentrations of, 100 years old centenarians in the world. And it's not only living so long, but it's also they all cherish a certain lifestyle, which Dan Buettner decided to popularize and see what can be done in order that we may all reach that age, right? If you are a mechanic, I need to know, and I want to do something mechanical, I need to study from you. But if you live 100 years, I also want to know what's the secret of that longevity. And we have spoken on our radio show about longevity with Dr. Jared Santana, and there is another talk that it is coming from Dr. Mo Ping Tom from FHP Urgent Care, that we're going to talk about aging and how we can gracefully age and how we should not be ashamed of aging, all the stereotypes that go against aging. So another topic on aging is coming. But today we are going to uncover or discuss or discover the secrets behind those blue zones. Now, do you know why we call it blue zones?
I don't know why it's called
blue
zones.
Not many people know, and the answer is not really sophisticated. I've heard someone will say, because they're like a special race, they're like a blue race, something like extraordinary that we don't see it on a daily basis. Well, yes and no, they are certainly different, but anybody can live like them, and we will see why. Others are saying this is because they eat blueberries. Yeah, the reason because it's called blue zones is because they are eating all the time blueberries. Well, that's not it. Actually, it's very simple. When they were mapping all those areas, they just had a blue pen. And when they would just come to an area that they would consider it a blue zone, they would just circle it with blue. And they would say the blue zone's there, and the other area and the blue zone's there. And so at the end, they decided just to call them the blue zones because they became very much popularized because of the pen marker. But this is the only reason. And I am very happy to know that someone is actually studying those people, and he's not only traveling to those 5 places in the world that have been identified. He has gone through other places where people claim that they have these concentrations of centenarians. Now, do you know how many centenarians do we have right now living? in the world. I mean, it's very difficult to guess. We would think there will be like 10 or 100, or maybe let's say in the whole world 1,000. Well, I do have good news. Okay, say a number.
Can I say 500?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm right.
No,
Oh,
you're
okay.
far from it. You're
Oh,
actually
okay.
750,000.
Oh, no way.
You see, isn't that a
Wow,
good
that's
news?
yeah.
Because we're all the time hearing how people are dying, and we do have a lot of diabetes. Diabetes is increasing, cancer is increasing, our lifestyles are getting worse, we're stressed out, and we all the time see people around us going away, wasting away very early in age. But we don't hear that there are people that actually live longer. And there are people that are very intentional about their lifestyle. And from the morning till the evening, they try to stick around. And of course, it is a miracle per se. I am, at my age, many people did not make it to that age. But we know with the talk that we made about telomeres that it is also up to us how long we're going to live. Many times you say, oh, it's not written for me to live so long. Oh, I'm old. I'm 50 years old. No, your life is just starting. You still have 50 more years to go at least. Aim for higher. I always aim for all my patients to live 100 and above. I don't promise them after 100, but up to 100, I really want them to have a perfect care, the best care possible. So, yeah. And do you know maybe who was the person that lived the longest? Or what would you say, how long the longest person alive had been living? What would you say? The oldest age someone on this earth has lived?
In the Bible, I think Methuselah lived to past 900 years old.
Right. This is what we know. He's the example we know. But what do we know? Maybe there were others that were not recorded in the Bible. In the contemporary era, we have the example of Jeanne Calment of France. She lived up to 122 years of age. There are others that claim that they lived to 126, 127, but in the records of Guinness, that lady had lived until 122. She actually passed away in 1997. It was born in 1875. That was quite a long life.
Yeah.
And, they studied her to see why she's living like that. And of course, she deliberately didn't have stress. She was eating very healthy. And she would say, je jamais malade. I am rarely sick. I'm rarely sick. Like she made a point that she will not get sick. Have you made that point? I haven't made that point. I think it's a very good philosophy to live like that.
It is.
Yes. So she was eating mainly plant-based food. She was smoking from time to time. We need to say that. She did. Her husband taught her how to do that. And after he passed away, obviously he didn't live as long. She kind of used it as kind of trying to forget him. But it wasn't a lot. This is what they say. And the longest man that we know that has been living is Jerome Kimura from Japan. He reached 116 years and 54 days. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end of their life, they were well taken care of nursing homes. That helps as well. The care really matters at the end of your life. So I'm very excited to know that there are many people that are making it. So it's not a miracle. It's not reality. Some people would say, I don't want to live that long. Oh, please, I don't want to have those sicknesses and all that. But we will see today that those centenarians, they are actually extremely healthy. They are very healthy. They don't have aches, even though they have old knees. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them don't even complain from a knee pain. And most of them are exercising every day. Some of them are even walking. In Greece, I was reading, and in Costa Rica, they're walking for 7-8 hours a day. They're very, very physically active. And what is very surprising, he also mentions Dan Buettner that they're sexually active at 100 years of age. So I need to mention it because many believe that at certain age, you start declining down. But they, by all means, do not think so. And their life continues for them. I believe that it is really special. Now, one interesting fact about Dan Buettner, he is an American. He is from Minnesota, but he is a long-distance cycler. He's a cyclist. That's the word, a cyclist. So he has 3 records in Guinness for a long cycling. And he started checking himself to see maybe the cyclers are the ones that are going to live longer. You know, he actually crossed with a bicycle from Alaska all the way to Argentina. That's why he's in the records of Guinness.
Oh, wow.
So that's
far.
one trip. Then from the top of Africa all the way down to Africa, long paddling.
Wow.
It sounds so overwhelming to me. I don't know, I just cannot imagine cycling for so long. And he did that in 1986 and 1990. And then he actually crossed also Russia, from one side of Russia all the way to the other side of Russia.
He's just going across the country
right?
on his bike. Wow.
Talking about long racing, long living, long enjoying this life, which is very special. Okay, so which are those 5 zones? It has not been very easy to identify them, and some of the regions that really were trying to qualify did not qualify to be within those 5 blue zones. For example, I heard about a zone in Pakistan. A local hospital went to them and they said, we're going to build a hospital here in Baltistan, I believe. And they said, why? We don't need a hospital. And they said, but how you wouldn't need a hospital? If somebody falls down in those mountains here and breaks a leg, you need a hospital. And they say, that happens from time to time, but we are very happy to drive to the village and get our, body parts fixed. And actually, we don't need it because we have everything that we need to be healthy. We have our good climate. We have our good food. We have, they're all herders. They have their sheep and goats, and they walk a lot. And they absolutely refuse to have an advancement of civilization. And they continue to live long time. They did not qualify. I'm trying to say that there were many other areas that there were centenarians that believe that they need to be there. But those 5 that we're going to talk, for some reason, they're special.
Thank you, Elena, and also thank you to all our listeners. We're going to go for a quick break. If you have a question, go ahead and call it in. You can call us at 671-686-9999. That's 671-686-9999. And don't go anywhere. Total Health will be right back after this short break.
You want to know what we want most? A bigger building? New microphones. All those would be nice, but there's something bigger, better, and bolder. What we want most is the opportunity to share a message you can hear that has changed us, changed you, and can change the life of someone listening right now. If you've ever wanted to get us a gift, then a gift certificate to New Opportunity is perfect. That's code for a financial gift. Joy FM, family-friendly radio.
Si Joe Mossy, and thanks for listening to Total Health on Joy FM. We want to hear from you. Call in with your health-related questions at 472-1111 in Guam or in the CNMI. The number to call is 323-1113. Text or WhatsApp us at 686-9999. And now, back to the show.
Hi, and welcome back to Total Health. Right before we went to the break, we were actually talking about the different zones. The 5 different blue zones.
I'm sure we know them by heart, but I'm going to mention them and what they are very, what they're standing out with. For example, we have our closest one. It's not far away, Okinawa in Japan. And that's the highest concentration of women over 100 years of age. That's the area. And we are very lucky that we live close by. So from time to time, we see some of them. I was lucky to have one of them as my patient, and I wanted to make sure I check everything, and everything looked very good in her blood work.
That's so good.
That isn't that good?
Yeah.
And of course, I wanted to make sure it's like, okay, you're from Okinawa, you're 100 years of age. I just want to make sure that, oh, your lab's work is great. And it was indeed great. It looked maybe better than mine. It's just really, really good.
Wow.
And of course, where is the secret? They do have a very low rate of breast cancer, prostate, and colon cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Someone will say. I remember a journalist that went all the way to Okinawa trying to figure out why Okinawans are living so long. And he was so disappointed when he returned back home. He said, oh, I made all this trip to figure out that the secret is that they eat sweet potato, you know. Definitely, I mean, sweet potato is something we should never underestimate. And we're so lucky to have it in abundance here in Guam. Very low dementia they have and very low heart disease. So a centenarian is a person that lives about 100 years of age. But those long living individuals are everyone that lives more than 75 years of age. So if you reach 75, congratulations. It's not given to everyone. And the longer you live, the more mature you become, the smarter, more wisdom you have, and you can spare yourself from a lot of trouble. At least this is how I think. Now, where is the secret about the Okinawan? Yes, of course, it's the sweet potato, but there is one principle that's even more important. Have you heard about the principle Hara Hachibu?
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah,
one,
so
no.
when Okinawans gather together, and they do that every week, they like to come together. All those centenarians, they just come together and they start talking about different things. And like women especially love coming together and just talking and talking and talking. And they don't stuff up anything. At that age, I don't think the filter is very high. You just say what you're thinking, and that really helps. But when they have a snack together and they eat something, they tell each other, Hara Hachibu, Hara Hachibu, which actually means eat until you're 80% full.
Oh, my brother told me about this one. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that
And
I
I don't think we have that concept in the United States, even in Guam. Eat until you're 80% full. We will be like, eat until you're 120% full, but not 80% full. And of course, they eat a lot of plant-based diet, rich in vegetables, soy, and seaweed. Yeah, for the omega-3 and many other components. We're going to have a special talk about seaweed very soon coming. They have very strong friendships. Connection is very important. With the advancement of technology, we love the technology for what it is, but with the advancement of technology, we're kind of becoming more distant, more separated, living our own world. And the more distant we're from people, the more we turn to addictions. It's not, a hypothesis that I just made it up. It is well known that when there is no connection, there is addiction. And the more connected we are with other people, the more human faces, research shows, we see, and we discuss things. On Skype is okay, on FaceTime is okay, but it's even better when I look at you and you look back at me. Now I'm looking through you through a window, but if I see you face to face, it does improve significantly our mental health. And they call that moai, strong friendships. They will just come together. And you know what? When they come together, what do they talk about?
Everything.
Yeah, everything, politics. But of course, they care about the island.
Mm-hmm.
The island is like the most important thing. They talk about the community. And
Oh.
it's not like gossiping.
Mm-hmm.
They come together and they say, hey, did you hear so-and-so fell down and broke their leg? What can we do? And they come with a plan.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And, let's give them this, let's give them that. Let's ask this one to donate those money. And the problems of the community are their own problems.
Mm-hmm.
They want to help everybody stay longer, healthier, happier. And this is what they're preoccupied. And why is that very important? Because as long as you live and you have a goal, you tell your genes that they are needed, that they need to be healthy because you have a greater purpose to achieve. And they have that. They call that lifelong purpose or ikigai. Ikigai is very important. This is how they greet each other. We need to continue having a purpose in our life, helping others. Traditional foods, purple sweet potatoes, they have that special potato, tofu, bitter melon, seaweed, green tea. Yeah, they come together, they sip on a green tea. And it is great. If you have ever been to a Japanese island, you see everything so small, so tiny. Everybody has a garden, and they deliberately slow down. They don't rush like us. I was in Yokoshima, one island not far away from Okinawa, and the local people were telling me, we don't want to be like the Americans. They press on the gas pedal very hard, very strong, and they go from point A to point B very quickly, and the life is over. We want to take it slow, press on the gas pedal, but not as as strong as fast, and just get there when we need to get there. And I said, wow, this is such an interesting way of, comprehend life.
Yeah.
And I started deliberately slowing down because this is not normal. Like all this efficiency, even kids, putting kids into their maximum from very young age in order to be productive, efficient, what they need to talk, what they have to do, what behavior they need to do in order to be successful. But success is not making us as happy as we thought in the past. So we don't need to press so hard. We can slow down deliberately, and we can enjoy the life, smell the roses, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the sea that we have. Okay, I like talking about Okinawa, but let me move to Sardinia.
Oh, before we go to Okinawa, though, I just wanted to mention that one of my brothers actually went to Okinawa recently, and he said that he saw an 84-year-old woman outside bush cutting.
Right?
And she's so strong. He said she wasn't having any problems. She's just out there bush cutting,
But
taking care of the lawn.
They're actually competing with their grandkids. They're as good, as strong as their grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do have some, challenges, they still keep on pushing forward.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. Yes. So in Sardinia, Italy. So what do we know about Sardinia? A beautiful Italian island. Another island. I guess islands are what are winning today. But it's one of the highest concentration of male centenarians.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, males are living there. Maybe they can meet each other. Too far away though. So daily walking on mountainous terrain, close-knit families, strong social connections, moderate consumption of grape juice. So they gather together quite often, and it's very good that they come the grandfather, the grand-grandfather, the grand-grand-grand-grandfather, grand-grandfather, grandfather, then the father, then one child, then another one, and it's like all the family, they come together. And from the morning till the evening, they just discuss that how they can make each other's life better. And what is good about the Pacific is that we do have this community. Mm-hmm. We care for others. I hope this will never go away, and that we also look for harmony instead of conflict in general. And so the Pacifics can also be very, very healthy. There is no reason Pacific Islanders not to be healthy. Of course, much of the food is imported, but our forests have so much fruit, and it's just rotting down. If you just go on one particular day, you'll see we have breadfruits everywhere, star fruits, kaimito, like all type of fruits that are just wasting away. We don't have to import our food. We can also grow our food, and it's right there. So what foods do they eat? They eat beans, whole grain breads, pecorino cheese. They have their particular cheese that they could not live without it, vegetables, and olive oil, virgin olive oil. Nicoya Peninsula, that's in Costa Rica, it's famous for very low middle-age mortality. So that's why they live longer, because middle-age, they don't die, which is great. And if you have been to Costa Rica, they have a completely different mentality. They say, if you have a problem and you can solve it, then you don't have a problem. But if you have a problem and you cannot solve it, then it's not your problem. And they also, they are happy if they have $300 in their pocket for the whole year. They said, that's enough. Then they say, we have sunshine, we have seaside, and what else do you need in life? And they're very happy. That's the country that they don't have an army, because they just don't want to die. They want to live a longer and happier life. And as we can see, they are achieving it. So they have a very strong sense of purpose. They call it plan de vida, or the plan of your life. And that's very important. What's the plan of your life? What do you want to achieve? When you're 60, when you're 70, when you're 80, when you're 100? Most of us, we don't think like that. We say, okay, I achieved something in my 40s, 50s, and now I just kind of have to sit down and at the backstage and just watch life, how it develops. No, we need to have a very strong sense of purpose. Then daily physical labor, they work very hard. In order for them to sustain their life, they work very, very hard. Large family networks. Of course, we know Hispanic, they love talking, they love coming together, they love their nietos and niños and everybody all together. And they don't use processed food. They would just go for fresh food or lightly cooked food. And they eat corn tortillas, black beans, squash. Yeah, another one. Papaya and tropical fruits. Well, we have all that in Guam. Right? We have all that food. We cannot say we don't have it. Another one is Icaria. That's in Greece. And it's famous for very low dementia rate. So people not only live long, but they also have a quality life. Few hip fractures and remarkably healthy aging. You're aging, but you're aging well. What they're famous for is that they have afternoon naps. That's very good.
Nice.
That sounds really good. Yeah. We feel it, especially when we have to wake up at 5 to be able to accomplish everything around after lunch. We feel the need of a nap. They are eating the Mediterranean diet. They have a lot of herbal teas. They have a slow pace of life. Deliberately, they slow down. I have driven in areas like that, and when you ask somebody for a direction, I was like, hey, where is that place? We need to be there. And they'll be like, one moment. And you feel like you want to tell them, hurry up, we need to be there. And they are taking their time. And it's like there is nothing more important than, okay, let me concentrate. I will tell you where where you're going. And that's it. Deliberately, they slow their life. And frequent social gathering. Do you see a pattern? Yeah, for all those centenarians, yeah.
Everybody slowed down.
Everybody slowed down. What do they eat? They eat lentils, the superfood that all the mountain climbers in Everest are eating. They eat chickpeas, olive oil, potatoes, and wild greens.
That sounds amazing. We'll hear more about the diets in the blue zones and more about Icaria, Greece when we come back from our break. If you have a question, you can send it to us via WhatsApp. Send it to 671-686-9999. That's 671-686-9999. Don't go anywhere. Total Health will be right back after this short break.
If you knew the way to a perfect life, you'd go there. To find peace, you'd use GPS to guide you there. If hope was a town, you'd move there. You might need to discover one destination for all three. It's a God destination. He offers what you can't find on your own and shares what you need in a way that meets you where you are. It's shared here. God's perfection, peace, and hope can be yours. No travel required. Listener supported. Joy FM. Family-friendly radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to Total Health on Joy FM. Call in with your health-related questions to 472-1111 in Guam. If you live in the CNMI, we want to hear from you too. Call 323-1113 or text or WhatsApp us at 686-9999. And now, here's more Total Health.
Welcome back to Total Health. Today we're talking about blue zones, and right before we went to break, we were talking about the diet that they follow in Icaria, Greece.
Right. And I'm planning to give you recipes from every single region. So be ready to write them down. And let me finish with the fifth one. Loma Linda. We know Loma Linda. It's not,
Mhm.
it's a place that many people go for treatment from Guam, but it is a primarily Seventh-day Adventist area. And people live there 7 to 10 years longer than the average American. And of course, to have such a distinction, something triggers people to live for so long. One of the world's longest lived population, and not just few. A lot of people live there. Even their surgeons in their 100 years, they still go, they still consult. Some of them still do surgeries. Yes, some of them cardiac surgeons. Some
At
of them
100.
actually, when they were very stressed in their job, many of them are medical. They just quit for a few years. Medicine is very stressful. That alone can really shorten your life. Care for others can. And then went into a farm to took care of strawberries. One, for example, one doctor that I know of took care of a farm, and then he returned back to medicine when he kind of calmed down. This is very important. Even if we have to take a break, for the common good, for us and others, is important. Lifestyle. We know that they have a strong faith, and faith is a component for people to live a longer life. When we're talking about the telomeres, we study how telomeres are those endings of the DNA that actually determine how long you're going to live. But we study that people that visit church services and that they're religious, they actually live longer. That alone can prolong your life. They have weekly Sabbath rest. So weekly they rest.
Mhm.
And this is the circadian rhythm that we're talking about. It is important that you reset your clock. Like you work, and then you reset your clock. And it's very important. There was this Baptist pastor, Josh Howerton, that he calculated that Seventh-day Adventists, they live 7 years longer. And when he did make a calculation in comparison with the average American, he said, actually, there is a secret. He discovered it. wasn't Adventist. Baptists discovered it. Adventists, for every Sabbath that they rest, God gives them an extra day.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Like there is a whole calculation. If you want to listen to a Josh Howerton, how Adventists live longer and how God is actually giving us additional life for the fact that we are resting. That they are also very famous with volunteerism. They volunteer. Let's go and do that. Let's go and do that. Most of them have been to Africa doing missionary work. Non-smoking. So we're not talking about alcohol. We're not talking about smoking. They have a very strong family and church support. They are talking about church community. Not only community, church community that they're coming together, and primarily plant-based diet. What do they eat? Beans and nuts and whole grains and fruits and vegetables and soy products. Amazing. So, what are we discovering that are the most common characteristics between all those 5 blue zones? Number 1, they all move naturally. I'm not against the gyms. The gyms are really helping us because with the sedentary lifestyle, really, we need to have an outlet where we can really move. And nowadays, there's so many things that we're considering because of safety. And that's why we have to be in confined place even when we are moving naturally. But they move naturally. How? By gardening, by walking, by doing housework and farming. This is what we find. So even in Guam, we can be doing that, right? Purpose, knowing why I wake up in the morning is very important. Why do we wake up in the morning? Is it in order to, put up with another day and more problems, or we have a longer and deeper purpose? They downshift deliberately. Daily stress reduction practices, prayer, meditation, napping, singing, family time. As simple as that. The 80% rule, stop eating before feeling completely full. I believe I need to learn how to implement that. 80%. Harahachibu.
Me too.
Staples food, beans, lentils, chickpeas, whole grains, fruits, vegetables. I'm not seeing any meat here. In the past, we thought the more meat you eat, the better you are because you're getting a lot of protein. But then we realize that too much protein is leading to other problems. Now, some areas, they drink wine at 5 or green tea at 5. But also the grape juice, if we remove the alcohol from it, it's great. You know, you have resveratrol, you get the dopamine release from it, and that makes you happy. It changes your mood. It changes your being, your existence by being in a better mood. And it's not universal. Loma Linda, for example, they avoid completely alcohol and still achieve exceptional longevity without drinking alcohol with some grape juice. They have a sense of belonging. They belong somewhere. They don't live for themselves. They're not separated. They're not isolated. Nearly all centenarians belong to some faith community. Regular worship is associated with lower mortality. So if we are wondering if we should go to church or not, if we should study the Bible at home or not, there is a benefit of going, meeting people, and sharing faith together. Number 8, loved ones come first. We are sacrificing ourselves, we're sacrificing our families, while those places, they are not. For them, the most important thing is marriage, children, grandchildren, elder care. And they are all in agreement about that. Now, 9, right tribe. You need to be in the right place. You know, if you have friends, and this is what Dan Buettner says, if you have friends, find friends that have healthy habits. That will prolong your life too. If you have friends that don't have very healthy habits, yeah, you can brush off from them and you might develop some unhealthy ones. But healthy behavior spread through friendship and community. It's good to have a tribe that you feel that you belong there. And so researchers have observed in those 5 zones: lower coronary heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, obesity, certain cancers, dementia, and depression. How nice. Those are all the conditions that we're spending so much money and we're working so hard to overcome them. Well, those 5 zones have discovered it. Hey, let's beat that. Let's not get into that trap. Many scientists believe longevity results as a form of combination of genetics. So we have to attribute some genetics, but it's only 20-30%. The rest is the way you live. Environment is very important. As I said last time, this astronaut that traveled around the planet, and he said, we are living in a lie. We care for the industry first, then for people, and least we care for the environment. While all those 5 zones, they care about the environment because they know that if the environment is not there, they are not going to continue living healthier. Diet is extremely important. All of them are eating plant-based diet, primarily social support, physical activity, stress management, meaning, and spirituality. Simple. This is what I call simple and beautiful life. The Blue Zone diet pyramid. Daily, they eat a lot of vegetables, then fruits, then whole grains, beans, nuts, and water. Weekly, some of them eat fish 1 to 3 times, not more. And even the World Health Organization does not recommend more than 1 to 3 servings a week, not a day, of fish, because of the mercury accumulation, heavy metals. Eggs, up to 3 a week. My patients are asking me how much eggs I can eat. We say up to 3 a week. And there is much discussion that is saying, no, nowadays they prove that eggs are actually not causing the bad cholesterol to rise up. There are other reasons. Yes, they're finding studies that show that the more you sit, the worse your cholesterol will be. It's not like the more unhealthy food you eat. We're seeing that the inactivity, the sitting disease is a worse factor than the foods we eat. But that doesn't make the foods that are not for us naturally better foods. So it's a combination of everything. But those people are walking. They are not sitting. Now, dairy in a very small amount. If they take it, it's in a very small amount, like the pecorino cheese, for example, in Sardinia. Very rarely those areas eat meat. Very rarely, almost never, sweets and processed foods. What does that tell us? I want to be one of those 750,000 in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good goal to have. I just want to live long. and live it well.
Yeah.
Now, many centenarians, they walk daily, sleep 7 to 9 hours. They spend time outdoors. They eat modest portions, not like free refills, over and over again. They have close friends. They pray regularly, serve others, continue meaningful work, and maintain very positive attitude. What a nice way to live.
Yeah.
Imagine if you live a long life, but you're bitter.
Yeah.
That's hard. That will be hard also on the other people around you.
Mhm.
So the research on Seventh-day Adventists has shown that several factors are really associated with their longevity. Predominantly plant-based diet, high intake of nuts and legumes, no tobacco, no alcohol, weekly Sabbath rest, prayer and church attendance, strong social support, and helping others. Now, of course, many would criticize. There are some researchers that are saying age records in certain regions may contain inaccuracies. Maybe they question that, or survivorship bias may influence findings. For example, oh, that person lives longer, they must be healthier. Maybe like everything. Even I'm reading that even Niagara Falls is getting negative reviews, or like even the mountains. So everything good has some criticism. Modern lifestyles are changing those communities. We are hearing that even in Okinawa now we have a lot of processed foods, even among the centenarians, and they are admitting themselves that their life has started to shorten down as a result of the westernized diet. And we here, right in Guam, we're soaked with it.
Yeah.
Longevity is likely due to many interacting factors rather than just one single diet. This is what the criticisms are saying. But now let's adopt some practical Blue Zone habits that anyone can actually do if we want to live longer. Walk 30-60 minutes a day. Most of us have watches, but if we don't, we need to be on our feet daily. If we can't, if we have any challenges, then we can do some chair exercises. Eat your beans. Beans are so important. I tell my patients, diabetic patients, please eat your beans. We are human beings. They laugh. It is very important. It has fiber. It will lower your sugars. The sugar will come up, but they will nicely come down. Eat fruits and vegetables. Sleep adequately. Spend time with family. Pray, meditate. Limit processed foods. Don't smoke. Cultivate friendships. Be very mindful of gathering with other people and have a sense of purpose. Well, let me continue with some recipes because I have so much to talk about it. Okinawa, Japan. I'll start with the Okinawan sweet potato and tofu stir fry. How does that sound to you?
It sounds amazing.
Amazing, right? Okay. So 2 purple sweet potatoes cubed, 1 block firm tofu, 1 carrot, 1 onion, 1 cup of cabbage, 1 tablespoon of grated ginger, and 1 tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce. And then steam the sweet potatoes until tender. Saute the onions and the ginger, add the cabbage and carrot, add the tofu cubes, and season with soy sauce. You have your antioxidants, high fiber, and low fat. You can't beat that.
That sounds amazing. That is the music. So we're going to go to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Total Health will be right back after this short break. If you have a question, you can always text it or WhatsApp it to us at 671-686-9999. That's 671-686-9999.
Maybe it was something you ate. Maybe it's just a byproduct of anxiety. But indigestion happens to all of us from time to time. We're unsettled, uncomfortable, and anxious. We want a remedy, and we want it fast. We don't like to be sidetracked by something as frustrating as indigestion or heartburn. But it's a fact of life.
Sorry.
Now, let's turn this thought upside down. Maybe it's something you saw or read. Maybe it's a byproduct of anxiety. But spiritual indigestion happens to all of us from time to time. We're spiritually unsettled, uncomfortable, and anxious. We don't like to be sidetracked by something as frustrating as spiritual indigestion. We want a remedy, and we want it fast. Sometimes the remedy takes time. It certainly takes patience. And prayer is always a great first step. Sure, there are things we can do, but asking God for help is always a right choice. With the great physician on hand, Relief can't be far behind. From Joy FM, family-friendly radio.
And we're back with more Total Health. Give us a call with your medical questions. Number to call in Guam is 472-1111. If you're in the CNMI, the number to call is 323-1113. Or you can text or WhatsApp us at 686-9999. Now back to the program.
Right before we went to break, you were sharing with us a sweet potato and tofu stir-fry recipe, and I really want to hear what the other recipes are.
You know, I'm getting really hungry, so I'm going to go very quickly through them because it's really painful even reading those recipes. Okinawan miso soup. If you want to try the miso soup from Okinawa, that's a miso paste, tofu cubes, wakame seaweed, green onions, and mushrooms. Simmer and serve it and enjoy. I'm moving to Italy, Sardinia. I have so much to share. So Sardinian minestrone soup. It's 1 onion, 2 carrots. This is obviously a portion for 1. 2 tomatoes, 1 zucchini, 1 potato, 1 can of white beans, kale or cabbage, olive oil, and a whole wheat pasta, which is optional. So you can saute the onions, add vegetables and beans, simmer for 45 minutes, and drizzle with olive oil before servings. Of course, everybody can Google Blue Zone's recipes. Dan Buettner also has written a book about it, collected the best of the best. And this is an excellent source of fiber and heart protective. Now, fava bean spread. We can find from time to time fava beans even in Guam. Cooked fava beans, garlic, olive oil, lemon juice. Delicious. It sounds amazing. I know the Arab people use it a lot. Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. Gallo pinto. Yes, I have eaten that. It's a black beans and brown rice. What do? 1 cup cooked brown rice, 1 cup black beans, onion, bell pepper, garlic, cilantro. That's it. Is it complicated? None of those recipes are very long, very simple. Then you saute the onion, garlic, and peppers, add the rice and beans, and garnish with cilantro. Serve with fruit or corn tortillas. And of course, they use very plain tortillas when they prepare them. Greece, Ikaria, Greek lentil soup. They call it fakias. It's 1 cup of lentils, onion, garlic, carrots, tomato, bay leaves. They use it a lot in this part of the world, and olive oil. Simmer the ingredients again for 45 minutes, not more than that. And finish with olive oil. Just get it out of the stove, then drizzle a little bit of the olive oil, because like that you prevent from having free radicals, and a little bit of lemon juice. That's it. High in protein, excellent for blood sugar control. And they, of course, they have a lot of Icarian herbal teas like sage, rosemary, oregano, and mint. And they drink that all the time. Now I'm coming to something very interesting from Loma Linda, and that's there called tree bean chile. Have you tried that?
I don't think I have,
No, but so it will not come to anybody's in their mind that you can mix different beans, but this is what they do. Kidney beans, black beans, pinto beans, tomato, onion, bell pepper, garlic, chili powder. You saute the vegetables, you add the beans and tomatoes, simmer for 30 minutes, and you have the tree bean chile.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds amazing.
Simple too.
Right?
Yeah.
And almost everybody has some cans of beans. If we're lazy to cook them or soak them for 24 hours, 48 hours before we eat them so they can sprout, then get your cans. If we're accustomed to use cans, get them and cook them. Adventist lentils loaf. 2 cups of cooked lentils. 1 cup of rolled oats. Onion, celery, carrot, walnut, herbs. Blend all the ingredients together and then place it in a loaf pan. Awesome. Bake it for 50 minutes. 45 minutes again. 45 to 50. Breakfast oatmeals. Rolled oats, walnut, blueberries, banana, soy milk. We know those things. Mixed bean salad, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, tomato, cucumber, parsley, lemon juice, olive oil. No sugar drinks, no highly processed foods, fast food, refined flour, and large amounts of meat. No. I tell my patient a steak is a mistake. And they usually give me this bad look. Like, how can you say that? Those are our favorite foods. Well, it shows the least you eat from that, the longer you live. All right, so simple. There is also blue zone cuisine that they kind of pick the best from everywhere. And that's, for example, for breakfast, you can have your oatmeal with walnuts, berries, and banana. For lunch, you can have a Greek lentil soup with a whole grain bread. For snack, you can have some papaya and almonds. And for dinner, the 3-bean chili with steamed vegetables and brown rice. And then in the evening, when you gather with the family, you're talking about your day and your life, have a herbal tea and a great time with your family. And of course, we can adapt that to the Pacific Islands. We have a lot of great food in Guam, and we can make it healthy. We definitely can implement some healthy options. Well, I wanted to share so much more about those places, but I will just share some of the most important philosophies that those places have. For example, Dan Buettner comes to the conclusion after he visited Japan, Okinawa, that the world's longest lived women never had to face life alone.
Wow. Wow.
It doesn't mean like, oh, you need to be strong and tough. And so even if they're single, because many of them, their husbands died, they don't face it alone. They don't leave each other alone. Loneliness shortens your life. Communication, connection prolongs it. So don't face life alone. Doesn't matter what we are going through. It's important that you lean outward and go and talk to others. In Sardinia, they say, I've walked those mountains all my life. This is what keeps them strong. Keep on walking on those mountains. Dr. Ellsworth Warrenham from Loma Linda, he says, I don't know how I reached to 100 years of age. The only thing I know is that God has been good to me.
Amen.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Like, most of them are very grateful. They actually, all of them, cultivate gratitude. It doesn't come naturally to us to be grateful. It comes naturally to us to be willing, needy more. But to be grateful, it apparently helps with your longevity. And one centenarian also have said that the secret is to keep busy, laugh often, and don't worry too much. It's not that we shouldn't be overthinking. Overthinkers are becoming one of the nicest people in the world because they're really trying to help others, to do things better. And for many years, we were like, we were kind of condemning them. But nowadays, we are embracing them. They're actually coming with a lot of good stuff by thinking so much. Some good stuff comes out from that, not only bad. Well, also, the Bible talks to us that we should aim for a long life. It's not something that is just reserved for those 5 zones. God also wants us to live a longer and meaningful life. We have many Bible verses. If you remember, you remember any of them, please share them with us. In Psalm 91:16, it says, with long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. God doesn't want you to live only a long life. He wants you to live an eternal life, a life that will never end. We're living shortly on this earth, but it matters how we live and when we can enter eternity and enjoy it forever. Proverbs 3:1-2, it says, my son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and peace they will add to you. Isn't that beautiful? And
Yes.
It says, yes, and it says, respect your mother and father so you can prolong your days on this earth. Honor your father and mother, Ephesians 6:2-3, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may be well with you and that you may live long on the earth. How amazing.
It is. Here's one that I've written in my journal. I wrote Isaiah 46 verse 4, and it says, even to your old age, I am he and to gray hairs I will carry you. I have made and I will bear, I will carry and will save. That's Jesus. That's God speaking to us. That's amazing. Even to your old age and your gray hairs, God is still there.
But no, actually, especially because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have walked that path with the Lord for many years. The longer you live, the more experiences you have, good and bad, that are teaching you so much more, and the more helpful you can be to others. I think we are missing a lot when we are not consulting ourselves with our elder. And in Guam, especially, we continue having that tradition. Ask, the elders in the community.
Mm-hmm.
They know better. They have lived that life longer. They have lived around the sun so many more times than we have. It is important. Then Proverbs 10:27, it says, the fear of the Lord prolongs life. Yeah, if that talks to your conscience, work on that. If God tells you don't eat that, it has a lot of oil and salt and sugar. The fear of God. You want to take care of your temple, and it matters how you do it. But the years of the wicked will be short. So it does matter if you walk righteously with the Lord or not. Proverb 10:27. Proverb 9:11 says, for by me your days will be multiplied.
Amen.
Isn't that amazing? Did you know that? And the more you give, the more God will return.
Mm-hmm.
The nicer you are to your parents, to the community, the longer your telomeres will be, because it will show you, you constantly will tell your genes that there is a purpose in your life that you need to continue living for.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, for by me your days will be multiplied and years will be added to your life. God says that.
Yes.
So it's a
Amen.
promise, and God really sticks to what he says.
Mm-hmm.
There are many people that we wonder how they keep on going with one leg to the grave and then come back, because God is not done with them, and if he can be glorified as a result of that, it's gonna continue happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not also important to add life, to add years to our life. We need to add life to our years.
Mm-hmm.
We need to live meaningful, significant life, spread the love, help one another, and live as the way God intended us to live.
Amen. Thank you, Elena, and thank you also to all our listeners. Total Health Live is here every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. God bless, and we'll see you again next time.
Be sure to check with your doctors before making any sudden life changes discussed today. Total Health is brought to you in partnership with Guam Seventh-day Adventist Clinic, where health is their mission. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Thank you, and Sijuas Maasi, for listening to Total Health right here on Joy FM.
You're listening to KSDA 91.9 FM, Agate and Agana Heights, Guam, and KORU 89.9 FM, Garapan, Saipan. The time is now 6 o'clock.
Looking for a clinic for your family? The Seventh-day Adventist Guam Clinic is here for you. We provide medical, dental, eye, wellness, and physical therapy services. Other services include pharmacy,